Insecurity is the persistent feeling that something about the self is inadequate, vulnerable, or not good enough, often accompanied by a fear that other people will eventually notice it. It can involve appearance, intelligence, social status, relationships, competence, financial success, or personal worth. But beneath these different forms is often the same psychological question: whether the person feels secure in their value without constant external confirmation. Insecurity does not always appear as obvious self-doubt. Sometimes it hides behind arrogance, perfectionism, competitiveness, excessive independence, jealousy, people-pleasing, or an intense need for control. A person who constantly compares themselves with others may be trying to measure whether they are safe from rejection. Someone who needs continuous praise may be attempting to silence an internal belief that they are inadequate. Another person may avoid opportunities because failure would seem to confirm what they already fear about themselves. Insecurity often develops through repeated criticism, rejection, comparison, inconsistent acceptance, unrealistic expectations, or experiences that taught the person that their value depended on performance. When approval becomes conditional, the mind begins treating achievement as proof of worth. Success creates temporary relief, but the relief disappears because the underlying belief remains unresolved. This creates a cycle in which the person constantly seeks another achievement, compliment, relationship, or form of recognition to feel secure again. The deeper psychology of insecurity involves the gap between the person someone believes they must be and the person they fear they actually are. The larger this gap becomes, the more energy is spent maintaining an acceptable image. Perfectionism can therefore become a defense against shame, while comparison becomes an attempt to locate one's position in a social hierarchy. Even superiority can sometimes function as protection against feelings of inferiority. The insecure mind becomes highly sensitive to criticism because criticism appears to confirm a feared identity rather than simply identify a mistake. It may also interpret other people's success as evidence of personal failure, turning life into a constant competition that nobody can permanently win. Healing begins when self-worth becomes less dependent on comparison and performance. This does not mean abandoning ambition or refusing to improve. It means separating personal growth from the belief that improvement is necessary to deserve respect, love, or belonging. A person can acknowledge weaknesses without treating them as proof of worthlessness. They can experience rejection without interpreting it as a universal judgment. They can make mistakes without feeling that their entire identity has collapsed. Genuine security develops through self-acceptance, realistic self-evaluation, healthy boundaries, meaningful relationships, and the ability to tolerate imperfection. The goal is not to become completely free from doubt because uncertainty is part of being human. The goal is to stop allowing every moment of doubt to become evidence against yourself. Insecurity loses its power when the mind no longer demands constant proof of worth. The deepest form of confidence is not believing that you are superior to others. It is knowing that you remain worthy even when someone else is more successful, more attractive, more talented, or more admired. When worth no longer depends on winning comparison, the mind becomes quieter, relationships become more authentic, and life becomes less about proving yourself and more about actually living.